But the doctor explains that it's not what he means. It's just that he needs to take care of her first before he can help the others. The woman stands up and says it's fine. She will go to the surface to try to find the medicine. The doctor says it doesn't make any sense. She will survive in her current state. The blonde man says he understands the situation and that the doctor should have explained it earlier. With that, he punches her in the stomach, saying the help has arrived. Everyone is shocked, even the protagonist, who's left speechless. Her body falls to the ground and the doctor approaches as everyone sees her bleeding. The protagonist can't take his eyes off her. He can feel her leg slipping away little by little. He wonders why humans die so easily until he feels something on his leg. Looking down, she asks why he looks so serious. The boy can't say anything, and she reminds him that he said he wouldn't care. With that, her life fades away without him saying a word. Her hand falls to the ground and everyone falls silent. The blonde man curses, saying his hand got dirty. Wong asks how it's possible that his expression didn't change after killing someone like that, and he remarks that apparently the monsters aren't only on the surface. The blonde man simply replies that he saved the old man because if he followed her to the surface, both would have died. The people around him are angry, and he says they should be grateful for that. But then he looks to the side. The protagonist is standing still and he asks what's wrong. Is he scared? Where did all that courage go? But at that moment, the protagonist realizes the photo isn't in his hand. The man looks back and says it seems he dropped it when he grabbed the knife. The boy prepares himself, and as the blonde man turns to ask what he's going to do, he sees the boy stands and asks if he's really going to try. Instinctively, he blinks. In that instant, the protagonist finds his opening. The man is about to ask if he's going to do something when the boy is already in his face, saying yes. From the guy's perspective, nothing made sense. He saw the boy, and in the moment he blinked and opened his eyes, he had been struck, and the knife had fallen. The two men beside him had reacted, and his body was still in the air. The protagonist grabbed him by the collar and struck him again, sending him spinning across the room. Before he hit the wall, the protagonist advanced again. As soon as the man's head touched the wall, the boy grabbed him by the collar, and the knife fell into his hand. Now everyone understood when it happened, and the boy already had the man immobilized. He stared at the guy who had reacted for even an instant. This made him angry, seeing how weak this guy was. When he attacked, the man couldn't react, and not even when the punch was about to hit him. If he had known this guy was so weak, he would have just taken the photo from his hand right away. If he had done that, there wouldn't be blood on his leg. At that moment, he saw his father telling him to finish it quickly. He should have no pity for any enemy. The protagonist felt something strange until someone told him to stop. He turned and Wong said that if he did that, there was no turning back. However, the protagonist simply asked if he was worried about that human's life. The old man said no, he was talking about the boy's life, and told him to ask himself he really needed to go that far as to kill him. The protagonist remembered a time when he asked his father if he really had to kill. If he just hit people enough, they would forget to attack him. His father laughed and said he wouldn't survive thinking that way and asked if he was afraid to kill a human. The boy told him to stop with that because he would never become like his father. Even if the apocalypse came, as his father always said, he would live the way he wanted. He wouldn't go around killing people just because he didn't like them. Then he remembered when the man killed the woman and the expression on his face. With that, he dropped the weapon. The doctor said he made the right choice, but the boy replied that it wasn't because of the options. It was because he knew that if he killed this guy, he would become like him. It felt to himself that there was no reason to kill that man, and why should he care if that woman lived or not? Even if she were alive, she wouldn't help him find his mother. So it didn't matter. What he didn't see was that another man was coming to hit him on the back of the head. Confident it would be easy because he didn't have a knife. The man went to strike, but the protagonist simply turned and pulled his friend to defend the attack. With that, he let go of the collar and punched the other man in the face. The body rolled and fell at the feet of the last man, who then crouched down. The boy asked what he thought he was doing. The man grabbed the photo and questioned if it was important to him. However, now the protagonist simply approached and asked what he was going to do. The man stayed quiet, smoothed out the photo, dusted it off, and handed it back to the protagonist, telling him to be more careful. After that, the boy returned to the group. They covered the woman's body and the doctor asked where the other girl and the child were. The respectable man said they had gone to the bathroom and were lucky not to have seen such a thing. Suddenly, someone called the protagonist. A chunky man with a mustache asked why he didn't do anything if he was so strong. The boy replied that it was because they had something important to him. The man asked if he was talking about that piece of paper. The protagonist just said it was important. Ignored the man approached everyone and said he wanted to ask something, showing the photo. Everyone said they had never seen anything like it. The girl always sleeps asked where he took that photo and he replied that if he knew, he wouldn't be asking. The respectable man said if they had access to the internet, it would be easy to find out. Wong asked why he wanted to know the location of that place. He said it was obvious, it was because he was going there. Wong surprised that he noticed the boy knew how to fight, but it was impossible to survive up there. However, the boy responded that he could survive. Everyone was confused while he thought to himself that he didn't expect to find anyone who would recognize anything. Then someone appeared. It was the boss who said they had apparently reached this point. Seeing the thing in the protagonist's hand, he said the man didn't follow such a simple order. Rolling up his sleeves, he said it didn't matter now. They would have to resolve this in a more intuitive way. Meanwhile, on the surface, a creature was walking and decided to start digging the ground leading directly to the station. In another part, people had improvised something to make a fire. Horror was nearby, just observing until the little girl came out of the bathroom and said everyone there was ridiculous for not flushing. Horror said it was inevitable since the flush didn't work. The man from afar approached and said it was better for them to return soon. Horror seemed angry, but the man said he was only doing it to survive too. From a distance, away from the fire, the man asked if they were going to fight, then something fell into their pot. They went to check asking what was happening. That's when more rocks started falling. He looked up and saw the ceiling opening. At the same time, the creature was already in his face. Meanwhile, the protagonist was face to face with the boss. He looked to the side and saw the henchmen all collapse. That confirmed his intuition. In the underworld, he also knew some people like this. Monsters, people who completely defied normality, even though there were actual monsters above ground now. The blonde guy warned the boss to be careful, saying the kid was stronger than he looked, but he took an elbow to the face. The boss said he didn't like being called incompetent. What he wanted to deal with was that boy. He approached saying the boy had a very rebellious eye, and now he would find out who was in charge here. Maybe now he could see whatever was inside the boy's soul. He wanted to see the true form. He found himself in front of a wall and opened it with his hands, but all he saw was darkness. That's when he realized he was wrong. It wasn't he who was looking at the boy of the opposite. Seeing himself about to be devoured, the boss screamed and fell back. The others asked what happened to him and the protagonist just stood there, staring everyone. The boss was certain he had almost been killed. The people in the room couldn't understand, and the girl behind the boss was questioning why he was acting that way in front of a child. Then they heard a scream. A man appeared at the door, asking for help, saying he couldn't see. They saw he was covered in blood and asked what happened. The man said he had had a strange headache for a while, and now something was coming out of his head. One of them asked if that was a monster. The man said there was something in his head that didn't want to come out. Suddenly, he twisted and then stood up again. The people stood frozen, watching. Something came out of his eye and shot across the room. The boss immediately yelled that it was a monster and punched him in the face, throwing him to the other side. The man was about to get up when the boss grabbed a tool and cut the creature. It fell next to the body and he finished it off. The people relaxed, saying that now it had stopped moving, the boss had killed it. The boss was wondering where that monster had come from. The people relaxed, saying they thought they were going to die just now.